So they've come together for today's action, which will bring the country to a near standstill. There'll be all but no trains, planes or ferries in operation after workers walked out shortly after midnight. And motorists have been warned that staff who maintain motorways and repair road damage after accidents are also on strike.
The BBC's Jenny Hill. Ukraine's government calling for an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council to counter the Kremlin's nuclear blackmail after Russian President Putin revealed plans to station tactical nuclear weapons in Belarus. News and analysis at townhall.com. It is the best show in town, and all you have to do is look up.
5 planets, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Uranus, and Mars, will line up near the moon, and the best day to catch the whole group is Tuesday. You'll want to look in the western horizon right after sunset when the planets will stretch from the horizon line to around halfway up the night sky, but don't be late. Mercury and Jupiter will quickly dip below the horizon around a half hour after sunset. The 5-planet spread can be seen from anywhere on Earth as long as you have clear skies and a view of the west. And you'll probably need to grab a pair of binoculars, too. Ron DeRockstra reporting.
A helicopter crash has claimed the lives of 2 Baton Rouge, Louisiana police officers. There's been no word yet on the cause of the crash, which is under investigation. The helicopter went down in a field early yesterday morning. The Baton Rouge police chief requesting prayer for officers and the families of those who were lost. More on these stories at townhall.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. More clouds than sun this afternoon with highs around 47. Winds out of the north, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly cloudy skies expected again. Tonight, lows dip down to about 30. Cloudy tomorrow, high of 49. High of 51 Wednesday under cloudy skies. 61 Thursday. Hear weather twice an hour or online anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Currently, it's 36.
Scott Baum here from Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton. Search our big selection of pre-owned cars and trucks by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Dr. Bradley Grant here from Midstate Eye in Clinton. Protect your eyes from UV rays during outdoor activities with prescription or non-prescription sunglasses. Call us for an appointment by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Here's owner Dave Jackson from your Clinton Save a Lot on how inflation is affecting all of us.
I peg the inflation rate on groceries at 20, not 8.
20%.
20 at least. And that is just a massive, that's, tenfold what it was back. You have to go back to the 70s. So this is the worst inflation in my lifetime. They say since 1980. I'm going to go back farther than that.
Despite that, Dave still provides you selection and savings at your Clinton Save a Lot. Find out more by clicking their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Hope to see you soon.
Warner Hospital providing ENT health and otolaryngology services to DeWitt County with Gibson Area Hospital and Dr. Jonathan Glickstein. Your ENT health is important, and Dr. Glickstein is an experienced otolaryngologist specializing in ear, nose, and throat conditions and head and neck surgery, dedicated to excellence in patient care for the best ENT services. Now seeing patients at the Warner Specialty Clinic in Clinton. To book your appointment in Clinton, call 217-784-2808.
Hear Clinton Maroon live play-by-play this season on WHOW, the big 1520 daytime, 92.3 FM in DeWitt County, and 106.5 in Bloomington Normal all the time. Plus, streamed at DeWittDailyNews.com on the WHOW mobile app. Plus, hear a best of Clinton sports broadcast Saturday mornings at 10. All brought to you by Midstate Eye, Nan Craig with Remax Choice, the 217 Home Team, Warner Hospital and Health Services, and Liberty Village in Clinton.
Hey, this is Todd Gleason from Illinois Extension here with a time change for our daily market report on WHOW. You can now catch our daily review of the commodity markets at 5:06 on all of WHOW's many platforms. You'll still hear all of our commodity analysts and weather professionals each afternoon, but at a brand new time. And you'll still hear the weekly wrap-up of the commodity markets right here on WHOW when Commodity Week airs Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. Remember the time change for the daily closing market report on WHOW at our new time, 5:06 p.m. weekdays.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in this segment of the morning show is Blaine Smith. She's the new executive director of Macon County CASA. Good morning, Blaine.
Good morning, Seth.
Yeah, thanks for coming out and talking with us. Tell us a little bit, Blaine, about your journey to Macon County CASA. You've been with CASA about a month now, so give us your background. How did you end up at Macon County CASA?
Sure. I've always worked with children. I worked at a not-for-profit in Decatur for about 7 years, working as a director of children's services, working with children with disabilities. And in the pandemic, well, go back a little bit. I became a foster parent in 2017.
Okay.
And kind of saw the need of the kids in our community.
Yeah.
And then in the pandemic, I was given the opportunity to go back and finish my master's, and I went to child and family studies, and I knew that this is where I was wanting to go.
Yeah. Wow.
So, yeah.
Gotcha. So got into Macon County CASA. Now remind us, Blaine, Macon County CASA, what is it? What is CASA all about? And we'll kind of dive into how Macon County CASA came to DeWitt County after that. But just give us some background on the program and the nonprofit. What's it all about?
Sure. So Macon County CASA does cover DeWitt County, and it is court-appointed special advocates. When a child goes into care, the judge decides whether a CASA volunteer advocate needs to be involved in that case, and that person watches over the case and that child. So you have therapists doing one thing, you have the caseworker doing one thing, you have parents, foster parents, bio parents, and the CASA is there to be consistent with the child throughout their journey.
Right.
In care.
Yeah, and that consistency is key for that child. Why is that?
There's a lot of inconsistency. Social services is known for turnover. Unfortunately, the pay, the burnout, all of those things, and it's a super hard job. Even therapists, in my personal experience as a foster parent, I've seen 3 or 4 therapists for one of my children, and I think we had 8 caseworkers in that time, and multiple supervisors over the caseworkers.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Having a consistent person that is advocating for what is needed and best for that child is key, and it's a support that child needs.
Yeah. Speak to that support and that, why that consistency is so important in that child's life. Like, what does having something consistent through a chaotic process, what does that mean for the child?
Sure. Stability, honestly. Every child is looking for safety in their safe home. They want to be comfortable. They want to be loved. And if you have that person that's able to follow that case from beginning to end, that person becomes a safe person. That person becomes the person that can let the judge know what their feelings are. I just had a CASA advocate say, and give me an experience of every time that they have to write a court report, they ask this child, of course, developmentally appropriate, what do you want the judge to know? So that is something that's not typical for the caseworker or for the therapist. They're, looking off their observations and their perceptions, which is normal for them, but this person is solely focused on that child.
Yeah. Now, how does whether it's a child coming into CASA or a child getting connected with a CASA, a court-appointed special advocate, how does that work? How does that happen?
Sure. So when a child is brought into foster care, there's the court hearings, and the judge is actually the one who appoints a CASA. So a caseworker can say, hey, I think this case might need a CASA involved. A foster parent, anybody can ask for that judge or, ask the caseworker to get it in there to get that judge to approve it. And that's what we are. We're kind of that extra set of eyes for the judge to make sure that this child is getting their needs met and safe.
Yeah. Should every child have a CASA or is it? Yeah, they should.
That is honestly National CASA's goal, and that I think should be every CASA's goal.
Okay.
I don't think it would ever hurt to have an extra person involved that is solely focused on the best for that child.
Right. So that program, about maybe 2 years ago at most, comes to DeWitt County.
Yes.
So talk about CASA coming to DeWitt County with us, Blaine.
Sure. So I'm going to reiterate. I'm about a month in.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
But I have already reached out, trying to get us reestablished in here. I think between the transition of the previous executive director and myself, that was quite a while. So trying to get us more established into DeWitt. We currently are serving about a fourth of the cases in DeWitt County. My goal is to be able to reach out to the judge and the attorneys and guardian ad litem and make sure that we are involved and they understand that we will be here. Again, showing that consistency, that reliability.
Right.
So yeah, that is honestly my goal. In the next year, I want to see us be able to serve half, if not 3/4 of the cases.
Sure. You talked about the turnover in the social work world, and I don't mean to kind of put you on the spot, but what is your kind of long-term plan for CASA? For your not only yourself but the organization. How about that?
So I have dreams. This is something I'm incredibly passionate about. I would love to see CASA grow. I see what we have done in Macon County. I see that. I see the impact. I get to see the stories. I get to hear them. And not everybody gets to do that. So I want to be able to grow in what we are doing. We don't currently serve every single child in Macon County either. So I would like to first look at DeWitt and Macon County and be able to serve those children.
Definitely.
And then honestly, if the capacity is there and the ability is there and we can keep staff and keep the volunteer numbers high, I would love to see a further expansion.
For sure. Again, Blaine Smith is our guest in studio today. She's the executive director of Macon County CASA in studio with us today. That CASA, and we talked about the demands that go into being a CASA. I venture a guess maybe there's a high burnout rate in those individuals where they maybe do 2 or 3 cases and then I don't know if they can't handle it anymore. It's just too much. Life gets in the way. That happens a lot. How do you maintain a high number of volunteers so that when 1 or 2 has to drop out for whether it's a short period of time or an extended period of time, you've got someone to fill in that gap?
So honestly, I feel like we currently have 93 volunteers, active on case volunteers. That number is, in my opinion, very low. I think to be able to reach those individuals who have burned out or feel like it's too much, having the conversations. We have CASA advocate supervisors. Being able to have the advocate supervisor there to walk that volunteer through, I think is key. Building that relationship with the volunteer and the supervisor, I think is key. And I have said that since day one. I think that if you can build those relationships and you can have that support system, you're going to have a better outcome.
Yeah.
So
sure. Talk a little bit about focusing in DeWitt County, recruiting efforts here. Like I said, like you said, you've been on the job for a month, so it's not like these are extensive for you. But early on, what steps have you taken, and how what's to come here for you in DeWitt County?
So we do also work with the mental health board here, and we will be at the chamber event Thursday.
Yeah, the business expo. Sure.
Yes. So we will be there the Thursday evening, and willing to talk to anybody interested in what we do and possible help.
Okay.
Or helping children. Yeah. So that is kind of like our first step. The second, honestly, I've already kind of reestablished an office space here with the church that we've already been using. Getting somebody back in here. My goal is to have a full-time person here.
Oh, okay.
And if I can make that happen sooner, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, definitely. There's also some training coming up for CASAs. Now, if folks are interested, I think the Business Expo is a very good first step of just stopping and having a conversation on Thursday at the Business Expo. Once that wraps up and someone says, you know what, maybe CASA is something I would like to pursue, what kind of comes next for that person?
Sure. So if somebody's interested, you can start with a simple phone call. The office number is 217-428-8424. However, our website, maconcountycasa.org.
Mhm.
It has the advocate volunteer information. There's an application, then we do an interview. There
Mhm.
is a background check. You know, we got to do everything that we can to make sure that the person serving is going to be a support
Right.
for that child.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes it isn't a fit. But I would love to see everybody try.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, it's not just putting or pairing a child with an adult
Yeah.
just for the sake of that pairing. You want that to work, correct?
Yes, absolutely. And that is something we do look at.
Mhm.
Everybody's different. Everybody has their own beliefs. Everybody has their own traumas
Mhm.
in their past.
Mhm.
So if they have a concern about their history and how that might impact them in the future, we're willing to look at that, have that conversation, see if that is something that you could do.
Mhm.
There are other ways to volunteer, though, not
Mhm.
just like April is Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month. So, we're putting the pinwheels at the courthouse
Mhm.
and a wreath lighting and having some different events for that. So
Sure.
there are always volunteer opportunities.
Definitely. Blaine, if folks cannot make the Business Expo Thursday, but they want to talk to you or someone at CASA, how do they do that? What's the first step to contact someone?
Honestly, like I said, the phone number, it's 217-428-8424. Give us a call. Lori McDaniel is our recruitment and retention expert. But you're more than welcome to ask for me. But even Rebecca, who answers the majority of our phone calls, she's an advocate. She can answer your questions.
All right, easy enough. So a phone call is all it takes. Blaine, let's take a time out here. Come back with some more. Blaine Smith, Executive Director of Macon County CASA, our guest in studio. More to come with her on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
When is the last time you considered your pet's oral health? Hi, this is Dr. Seuster at Covenant Animal Clinic in Clinton. A pet's dental health is vitally important to their overall health. Learn about our dental services by clicking the Covenant Animal Clinic icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
By leveraging sustainable carbon management solutions like Navigator CO2's Heartland Greenway, ethanol facilities can make substantial progress toward carbon reduction objectives. Learn more on how they're partnering with ethanol producers across the Corn Belt. Click their icon at IllinoisFarmRadio.com.
Do you know what to do when a car is pulled over on the side of the road? First, reduce your speed. Second, change lanes if possible. Third, proceed with caution. These 3 simple steps can be the difference between life and death. The next time you're on the road, do the right thing. Slow down, move over, and drive like your life and their life depends on it. Sponsored by the Illinois Broadcasters Association. Aired in cooperation with this station. Thanks to the AAA Auto Club for their financial support in the airing of this message.
If you're looking for the latest in local hunting and fishing information, then join us for Central Illinois Outdoors with me, Jared White, Saturday morning at 7, Sunday morning at 8 on all WHOW platforms. Every weekend, we'll offer detailed Central Illinois fishing reports, and I'll invite you to share your favorite stories as well. Central Illinois Outdoors with me, Jared White, every weekend here on WHOW and on demand at CentralIllinoisOutdoors.com. Brought to you by Bob Ridings in Pana, the Clinton, Illinois Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Bureau, and Locked and Loaded in Pana.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. Again, my guest in this segment of the morning show, Blaine Smith, is the Executive Director of Macon County CASA with us in studio today. Blaine, let's talk. It's the time of year we need to talk about playhouses and the raffle for those playhouses. Tell us what's going on.
Sure. So the playhouses, we have the research submarine, it's been voted on, and then the sorcerer's spire, which is kind of like a castle concept. They're both really cool, really awesome. BLDD architecture, they did all the designs for it. We have a couple of construction companies who are doing all of the work. Josh and Doug, they're pretty amazing. And we have local painters doing it. So it's getting built. Those things are happening right now. Lowe's gives us all of the materials.
Yeah.
And ticket sales for it go on April 1st.
All right. So Saturday.
Yeah. It's
All
at
right.
the Kids Fest.
Yes, definitely. So with this fundraiser, you're talking about all these folks that donate their time and resources and manpower and all this stuff at a time where particularly supplies and materials are so expensive. That's really quite a donation for some of these folks.
It's huge. We are so appreciative of our community partners,
Mhm.
and we could not do what we do with this raffle
Right.
at all without
Mhm.
them.
Mhm.
And I am going to reiterate, they do all of these things for us.
Mhm.
And people always ask, what does the donations go to, or
Mhm.
what does that go to?
Mhm.
And people always like to hear, oh, a playground or this.
Mhm.
But we are solely focused on our mission of making sure these children are advocated for and served.
Right.
And that's manpower. That's the time that we put in. That's the trainings. That's all of those things that we have to be able to do
Sure.
to serve the children in our communities.
Sure. Well, and when it comes to, the service of those kids, you talked about you want those kids to be served. You want to be safe as well.
Yes.
And that's the ultimate goal for sure. Now, you mentioned those ticket sales go on start on Saturday, and it sounds like you're going to be kind of visible for this kind of kickoff. Tell us about this a little bit.
So Kids Fest is at the Decatur Civic Center 9 to 2 on Saturday, April 1st. We will be there. Unfortunately, the playhouses will not be. They have been in the past kind of there, so you could see, but we'll have different activities to kind of go with the playhouse. But those ticket sales do go on sale there. We will have pictures. You will be able to see all of that.
Okay.
And yeah, we're kind of kicking it off there.
Awesome. Very good. How much are tickets? How do folks, if they can't go to Kids Fest, how do they get tickets?
You can get them online. There's maconcountycasa.org/playhouse. And then you can give us a call too. Again, 217-428-8424. And we can do it over the phone.
Yeah.
If we also different sponsorships. We are working on different sponsorships and community businesses having the tickets available there as
Okay.
well.
Sure. So when it comes to Playhouse sales, those will be on display once they're built. Where will they be?
Yes. So one will be here in Clinton at the square near the courthouse. And then we will also have one in Central Park in Decatur.
All right, very good. So folks can check those out as well. And I know that around farmers market season, those were kind of on display for folks that came out. I saw a lot as I would drive around the square, I'd see people checking them out. So it's really nice to have those on display and kind of get a visual and check out what your raffle ticket is potentially going for.
Yeah. So a raffle ticket is $5.
Mhm.
There are different options going up depending on how many you are buying, but a single ticket starts at $5.
All right, very good. So again, Blaine, anything else on the playhouses? Anything we missed you want to put out there for us?
No, just a thank you to our community sponsors. We
yeah.
really appreciate everything. And this is one of our biggest fundraisers. So the more that the community is involved and sponsoring this, the more children we're able to serve and keep safe.
Absolutely. Yeah. We also should note, Blaine, that April is Child Abuse Awareness Month. Let's talk about this a little bit. Particularly, let's take a local look at this. How about that?
Sure. So, like I mentioned, we are currently serving about a fourth of the children in DeWitt County. There are 45 kids that are in care in DeWitt County, and we do not serve but 10, 11 of those children. So again, the awareness of getting out here and understanding what child abuse is and the things that you can do to help prevent that, or even be a help after those things are happening and the child possibly is removed from their home, which is another traumatic experience. It's big, and like I said, in DeWitt County, there are 45 kids. People think that's not a lot, but that's more than enough.
It's a lot of kids.
Yeah.
And I'm curious what you think about this. Over the years, I've thought the conversation around child abuse was maybe getting out there more. People were having it. But then, I sit back and I kind of watch it happen. And like this conversation, like I'm a participant in it, but I kind of watch the conversation happen from afar. And, it's kind of like the news cycle. Something is there for 2 or 3 days and then it's gone. And then the next occurrence comes up and it's there for 2 or 3 days and it's gone. How do you keep this conversation going?
You have to talk about it. And that's kind of what my role is is to get out there and let people know that this is happening, whether it's in the news or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's your next door neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't, child abuse is not discriminatory against those who have money, those who don't have money. It's not something that happens where you don't see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mentioned this off air, but teachers are kind of our first line of defense.
Right.
These kids spend a lot of hours of their day in school, and having a teacher that is able to know that child and be aware of the differences in their disposition, in their attitude, in their demeanor, all of those things are huge.
Mm-hmm.
That's not just bruises.
Right.
That's a child coming in with their head down every day.
Mm-hmm.
That's looking for those signs.
Yeah, they're happy kids, they're happy-go-lucky kids, social kids, and then all of a sudden that changes. Those kinds of behavioral changes. And we were talking as well in the break that COVID really hid some of these things because kids weren't in school and all of that. How has that shown itself from your experience the last 2 years, Blaine?
Again, COVID kind of did hide everything for a little bit. Everybody's home, kids aren't being seen.
Mm-hmm.
There's not after school programs. There's not school programs,
Mm-hmm.
Even doctor's visits got taken away a bit. They
Mm-hmm.
went virtual. So
Mm-hmm.
unless there was a significant physical injury,
Mm-hmm.
that child typically wasn't seen.
Right.
So,
right.
it was there and hidden.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to school, having the child more out, there are things that you have to notice and you have to see as servers in the community, like the teachers, the
Mm-hmm.
doctors,
Mm-hmm.
the
volunteers.
volunteers.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
everybody.
Blaine, I look at the clock. I hate to do this to you.
That's okay.
I've got to let you go. You're going to be at the Business Expo Thursday. Yes. Tell us about that and how folks learn more about Macon County CASA.
Sure. Absolutely. Come see us.
Mm-hmm.
Lori and myself will be out there Thursday. We'll talk about what we do. We'll talk about how to get you involved. She also taught me a huge phrase. If you can't advocate, donate.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And how do folks do that?
Sure. Same ways on our website, maconcountycasa.org, or giving us a phone call at 217-428-8424.
Blaine, it was good to have you in this morning. Thanks for making time for us. Blaine Smith, Executive Director of Macon County CASA, our guest. Network news on the way on the WHOW Morning Show.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. Cleanup is underway in areas of Mississippi hard hit by tornadoes over the weekend. At least 25 deaths and dozens of injuries blamed on the storms. President Biden approved a major disaster declaration, while Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves declared a state of emergency. With the recovery of 2 more bodies and the rubble of a chocolate factory that exploded in Berks County, Pennsylvania, authorities now believe that all of the victims have been accounted for. The death toll from Friday's explosion in West Reading is 7. Ongoing turmoil in Israel amid growing resistance to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's plan to overhaul the country's judicial system. Protesters continue to turn out in large numbers all across Israel. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is up 185 points, the Nasdaq ahead 19, the S&P 13 points higher. More details at srnnews.com.
From the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Seth Lawrence with this local news update. At last Thursday night's DeWitt County Board meeting, the board voted to get the Clinton Lake Marina appraised. Marina Committee Chair and Board Chair Dan Matthews indicates Webster and Associates from Champaign and Sickich from Springfield will both conduct appraisals of the marina property. He says both companies offer a different perspective and both will be done for under $20,000.
We need to get some appraisals done, both of the property, the land, and the business itself. So I have talked to 2 different groups. One is Webster Associates out of Champaign and Sickich out of Springfield. So I'm asking to approve the $20,000, and we can get both appraisals done for under $20,000. So we can have 2 appraisals from 2 independent. Both have a little